Let's talk Klingon. What I'm working on today is my Duras sister cosplay, specifically Beitor, focusing mostly on elements from the next gen movie generations. I have a whole video breaking down the pieces I'm picking out, why, and all of that. If you're interested, today we are going to be talking about why I'm struggling already and what I'm working on and showing you how I've gotten to where I am. This is going to mostly focus on the shoulder armor piece and a little bit of my thought process on some of the other pieces of armor and breaking down where I started and why, because I think that those are important parts when you're starting a big new project, is where on earth do you get started. So I have not made nearly as much progress as I would like because my friend is getting married the week that this goes out, and I am a bridesmaid in the wedding. But I think I still have some progress that I'm very excited to show you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I feel like every new project starts with that, well, where on earth do I start? And so this is the scraps of me actually getting started. So what I started with was sketching out what I could find from the reference images as far as what the chest plate looks like. First the initial shape, and then I realized the more complicated thing was the center. And then I realized the biggest thing is making sure that this is to scale relevant to my chest. So what I did was I found the largest circular disc that I own that looks like it's about the circumference of my chest, which is actually something that's kind of funny. This is the acrylic placard from one of those things you stick it in a base and it lights up. It is the Starfleet Command United Federation of Planets logo, which I find really funny that I'm using this to help me draft a pattern for a Klingon cosplay. Anyways, so that circle fit this perfectly. And this is larger than what I need, but that's kind of the point because I need this to kind of be the outside. I decided to use it as the outside scope of the armor, and so you can see where some of those forms made it on here. And I sketched it out again and cut out a paper pattern. From there, I kind of sketched out the geometric lines because the biggest thing is one, size, and I think I now have the size good. The second is how I actually construct this thing, and that's where I'm at now. So this actually fits really nicely. It curves against my chest, and I think this is actually a really good size. Here's the problem. Making it in one piece like this, okay, I could use an X-Acto knife for this. However, I don't have the nice little handy rig that holds it steady for you, and clearly with willpower and scissors, you can't get... Granted, again, I'm not entirely trying to be super precise with this, but like these angled notches between these pieces, it's far more likely that I'm going to cut myself or cut these pieces off of each other than I am actually going to get what I want. Like that's decent, and I could maybe see what cleaning this up with a Dremel looks like, but gosh darn it, why did that look good? Because then that actually, So this is actually being made out of my thickest foam that I have. I don't know the millimeter measurement on this because it needs this 3D effect. So the thought process that I'm having now is essentially making this out of a series of pieces and using these basically joint lines kind of to define where each of these pieces should be and how they should go together. I have to find my contact cement before I can actually see if that is a viable path forwards. But we have a paper pattern, a decent scale reference, and I just need to work on actually figuring out how to make this not look bad. This is the most detailed section of the chest plate, so I figured starting with this would give me a good reference to then go out from there. May not be the best way to do it, but it's the way that I'm starting. We're actually going to sit and chat for just a little bit longer, and that's because I want to talk about why I started with what I did and where it got me. Because the way that you Tetris these pieces together in the end makes a huge difference in how the final thing will be constructed. That was something I received a lot of praise for in Beetlejuice, was the way that I put the pieces together and kind of thought about what should be attached and what shouldn't. And so putting that time and thought into how the things are going to come together is really important. Because I didn't know where to start and I also didn't have fabric, I decided to start with the bracers. I made myself a cardboard template. Initially just, you can cut cardboard and kind of fan it out, rolled it, ended up basically wrapping it in a masking tape skin, and then cutting it into the shape that I wanted. I then tried to use this to wrap EVA foam to, using an abomination of a stand this didn't work for several reasons. I was using a very thick EVA foam, and by very thick I mean like 4 millimeters, but if you've worked with EVA foam, you know that's a decent thickness. And because I'm putting it over something that was already the shape that I wanted, it was like way too big too quickly. So that got axed. I decided, okay, not gonna do the bracers, at least not yet. I need to rethink my approach to them. What I think I'm gonna do is actually still skin it, but I'm either gonna skin it in leather, or I now have a 2 millimeter black foam, which should lay much nicer, much flatter, and I should be able to do that well. My thought for the leather is I am more comfortable in sewing. I actually want the seam lines. I know it's crazy. I want the seam lines because you can see those in the actual piece. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to make another cardboard base. That'll be the center, and then that's gonna get skinned, and so there's going to still be cardboard at the core of the bracer. So once I figured out what I did wrong there and where I think I'm going with it next, well, I decided to move on to something else. And the tunic is intimidating because I have decided I want it to be one tunic piece with the strips being continuous from the shoulder to the floor. That's a lot of fabric to get straight and even for a material that I haven't worked with yet, and I wanted to see if I could do. You know, looking at the actual like costume, it almost maybe looks like it's like flat with like raised metal details or something. It doesn't necessarily look like sewn strips of leather, but we're committing to the leather because what this also let me do is by working on the shoulder piece, that's what I decided to do next. I don't know if I said that. I'm great at this whole YouTube thing. It gave me a chance to figure out and brainstorm how I actually wanted to deal with the leather pieces and what would make sense for the actual like rest of the outfit. So I'm gonna walk you through the steps that I did and where I am with it now. I made a cardboard base and I kind of got it to a general side, able to put my whole head through the hole. All that is good. Then I decided I made a basically cloth cutout out of a cotton, and my plan was just cut the leather strips, fold it, top stitch it down, one line of stitching each side, done. I tried to iron the leather. It doesn't not iron, but it doesn't iron well. So I decided, okay, let's do this the more traditional way. I then cut out strips of cotton. And so I seamed right sides together of the cotton, was able to fold it, iron it, and that actually helped me hold it in place, and then top stitch that down. I just wanted to give a little bit of a better view of what I'm doing with these leather pieces. And so I have a bunch of them here. So I need an odd number, so I still have one not attached. This is one that I had decided to iron first and see how I liked that. It did make the second step a little bit easier, but it didn't actually really matter if I ironed it first and then sewed it on or not, because I can iron it again after. Ironing, it doesn't melt it, even on a decently high setting. I just try to be very careful that it's not on there for too long. But so essentially, I am sewing down. I've done 2 seams here. You can see these white versus this black, because the next step is this is to get folded down and top stitched. So what I did initially is make these cotton strips the exact same width as my leather. That's not entirely the case. You can see there's a tailor's chalk line very faintly down some of these. So I measured where I actually wanted the next strip to be, and I had to trim this down to match that so it's more consistent across the board. I have 2 of these essentially like big full strips done. This one's got 5, this one's got 5, and then my 1. So I have to top stitch these 2 down, and then essentially I'm going to sew this to both of these because the edge piece on these gets cut off, so I don't actually have to worry about attaching the black cotton to the outside of these. I think my top stitching looks pretty good overall, I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple places where it's got a little bit of a hiccup, but I think in the grand scheme of things, these look very even, and I don't just mean in top stitching, I mean in their width. So I love the molting on this leather. I think it's just absolutely beautiful, and this already looks so good. My problem then came in the subsequent pieces. This is definitely the approach I will take long term, but in the subsequent pieces, you will notice I did not trim my cotton, which meant that I used pins to secure my leather to the cotton. This was a bad idea because what it means is when you try to pin something that's really, really thick, it just warps and it bubbles and it doesn't work well at all. So this shifted a lot. So the solution is top stitch, because I think the stitching on my leather is fine if I can just stitch into the same holes. But I just need to cut the actual cotton piece so that the leather lines up with it. That way I don't have any concerns and there shouldn't be any slippage because I can use my clips all the way down the side. But once I have that, that's gonna get draped essentially over the cardboard cutout. I'm going to mark where my head is supposed to go and then cut that out, and that's gonna get glued on top. My plan for the fringe, not fringe, but weird bit around the bottom, is moldable clay foam. I'm gonna take that and bubble it kind of all the way around the edge. I'm thinking of putting the cardboard in plastic wrap or like inside trash bags so that it doesn't stick immediately, so that I can actually peel the moldable clay foam off, prep it, paint it, and get that textured, and then glue it back on to the piece. And the shoulder detailing there is also going to be EVA foam. But that is the piece that I'm starting with. That is about as much as I have. I will have hopefully inserted footage of the steps of the process as I'm making it. This is a short video and it pains me that this is all I have. I'm so sorry, but I'm really excited for this project, I swear.
So I've actually made a little bit more progress since I filmed that part. And since I have the full leather basically cover completed and my cardboard, I put it on and realized that the cardboard needs some kind of understructure to actually maintain the shape that I want. And so for horizontal supports, I decided to start with 2 large chopsticks, basically at immediately of the back of the neck, so it would have like a strong point to sit on. And then because there is the defined point on the shoulders, I went ahead and just broke some bamboo skewers into the right shape. These didn't need to be as structural, but they still just needed support. And I angled those to the apex of the point on the shoulder. What this will allow me to do is make sure that that point will be supported, especially because there is some additional detail work that will go on the top of that, so that it will maintain its shape and not bow under the weight of anything. In addition to the horizontal supports, I decided I also needed vertical supports because I did cut the cardboard with my X-Acto knife so that it can bend. However, it's almost too bendy and it doesn't have enough support underneath it. So I took some wire and I thought I had more footage of it, but I do not. But you will eventually be able to see it in a minute. What I did next was take some bra cups that I had that were flattened, and then cut out 2 pieces of foam circles using that as a general pattern. This foam is something that I bought from when I did my Mandalorian cosplay, and I shoved it in the temple of my helmet so that it would not hurt my head, and I thought that it would be perfect for this application because it means that no longer is it just resting on the back of my shoulders, but it's actually going to be resting on top of my shoulders, on top of the padding. This thing already does have a little bit of heft to it because of the hot glue that you can see now from all the wire on the internals. So I wanted to make sure that it's going to be comfortable to wear because the leather and the detail yet to come is only going to add more weight. I used rubber cement to glue this down. I used my dress form to kind of figure out where on the shoulders it needed to sit. And the rubber cement worked surprisingly well at adhering this foam to the shoulder pads. So now I have a base skeleton structure that is ready for all the embellishments to come. I was planning on actually making more progress, but unfortunately due to weather advisories, I cannot go acquire some quilt batting. So you will have to see why I need that and what's yet to come in the next one.
So I know the subscriber is pretty much dead on YouTube, but if you wanted to, go ahead and hit subscribe down below. Leave a like button on this video if you did enjoy it. It will tell YouTube that other people may enjoy my content just like you. I really appreciate you being here. These are really fun for me to do, and I'm excited to be getting back into the swing of the big one. I don't know where I'm gonna go from here, but hopefully I have even more progress to show you in just a little bit of time. So with all of that said, thank you so much for clicking on this video and spending some time with me in my weird little corner of the internet. And without further ado, I will see you in the next one.